So, hi to all of y'all. And you're probably wanting to know why branding, why in a room full of retail, why should it be for you? And I understand because it's unusual. But let me tell you this, I agree. But sometimes agreeing means to also adapting to change. So, Craig and I met in 2018, and it's funny because I met him at a real estate event because I followed my dad. We went to Milano, and Craig asked me, because we've known for a while, if I'd like to be on stage, talk about branding. And it's something that we actually need, and it's critically important for your personal and professional brand. So I know you guys are representing your companies, but outside of your companies, who are you? And that also is important. So, branding, what is it? It's a promise to your customers, your client, your community of what you say you will deliver. And today, I really want you guys to understand. Oh, before I say that, I'm basing my experience on my insight and what I've been doing on social media. So I've been on social media for a while, and I'll explain that a little bit. So as we jump into, I know some of y'all may like Nike, some may not, but Nike is an athletic brand. They do sportswear, they do athletics, but they're really, really big on community. They're really big on engagement, and they're really big on belonging. And you are probably like me. You see the Air Force Tiffany collaboration. I personally think it's absolutely disgusting, but that's my only personal opinion, just like my sisters. You guys may like it, but that's okay. And on the other side, you have Riccardo Tisci. If you guys don't know Riccardo Tisci, he was the designer for Givenchy. You maybe know Givenchy or not, but like that's just my background in fashion. I bought that pair of shoes, those high boots that you guys can see. Now, I don't like the Nike Tiffany one, but I bought the boots because I love Riccardo Tisci and he's collaborated with awesome people. Now, yes, does this shoe actually, I think at the time, it's like 700 euros. Don't worry, I got it at 12 euros. So we're good. I got a bargain for it. But I have it because I want to be part. I love Nike. So I love being part of the brand and representing them. And that's what it's called, integrity. So a little bit about me, without making it that boring. Did fashion, did styling, worked with a couple of magazines. But I really want to put here, collaborated. I have my brand that's called Be You Do You, and we sold for the last 2 years 50K with my sales force on only products. So what I say is what I do. So I want you guys to understand I'm not just talking and fluffing some stuff up. This is like real things. But what I will tell you is I love going from a piece to a masterpiece and turning it into your voice. Just like what all you guys have, turning your piece of expertise, turning it into a masterpiece where people are like, oh my goodness, I need you to turn it into your own voice. And I'm really good, and we all know sales is two things. It's passion and it's energy. And Hubert was talking about being super clear about numbers, just like it's also being super clear about your message. Who are you talking to? And I'll share a little bit later on. So how can you build your brand on social media or offline? Because I think you can do both. I took this from Pat Flynn, and you guys can see a pyramid. Pat Flynn is a massive social networker and sells online courses and stuff. So there's a base of how people will find you. So it's casual audience. So they'll find you online. They may find you, for example, here as we're networking. Hi, how are you? Connection, all that kind of good stuff. The next tier is your active audience. Okay, so for example, it's literally is what Craig has done. It would be connecting from my dad. Oh, hey, Olivia, connecting. Oh, okay, I know you. I don't really want to purchase your products or whatever, but I'll follow you and I'll stalk you for 4 years. And then I'll ask you to be on stage, right? Maybe, somebody else has recommended you from business to business that you didn't know and out of the blues. So same thing. That's your active audience. Next is your connected community. So having a conversation. Now, here is the example of Beyonce. But since I don't really like Beyonce, let's go for Rihanna. So Rihanna, you probably love Rihanna like me, so we can be friends. I love what she creates. She turns everything into money. She turns everything into, now she has like an athletic wear where you can like work out. I don't know if I purchase it, but we'll see. But that for me, I can have a conversation with somebody saying, "Hey, oh my goodness, oh I talked to I'm sorry, I don't know Patrick." Metric, sorry, got that wrong. Great, Olivia. Good start. But we talked about his family is from generation of Prince Charles. That's a connection of a communication that I will remember. He loves golf. I don't like golf, but we are connecting. So that's a connecting thing that we can have in common. In common because I live in the UK, and since we're changing kings from queen to king, we have already a connection. Sometimes there's conversations with people. You're like, oh my goodness, I remember everything. And some you're like, I have no idea who he is or who she is. Next tier is super fans. So super fans is the person that will reshare your content, that will talk about you. If you have people talking, spreading rumors or whatever, they'll be like, you don't know that person. I know that person. And so your goal as a brand and as a human being is to get to those super fans. And you're probably asking, Olivia, okay, that's great, but how'd I get to that? You only need 1,000. And if we look at the ratio of maybe your people on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, whatever, it can go really, really fast. You don't need to have 1 million followers to have raving fans. And that's what I want you guys to understand. As branding grows, it's really important. So, how'd you create raving fans, Olivia? Awesome question. So I took this from Fraser Brooks, who's my mentor and also in social media, #1 in social media. You need to know, love. I don't really like the word like, so we're going to go for love. Trust. You get raving fans. Okay. So let me explain the example of, I don't know if you guys know Joe and the Juice in the UK or abroad. It's basically this bread. I think it's a Danish or Norwegian. It's really bad because I work for this company, but it doesn't matter. I was a juicer. And they do this bread. The bread, they make it themselves. So you can't find it anywhere else. So you know the brand as you go into a store, you go and get it. This is like a bread, beautifully made. It's just addictive. You know that piece of bread where you're just like, oh my goodness, it's cool. It's nuts. It's healthy. Not that I'm really healthy, but it doesn't matter. But that's what I like. So you know the brand, Joe and the Juice. I love going there because they have a club sandwich. They make the pesto themselves. It's not authentic pesto, but it's still pesto. Club sandwich, but I know we're going to be eating soon, but without making you hungry, chicken, potato, chicken, tomato, and I asked for extra Tabasco. I know and I love the brand. So every time I see a Joe and the Juice, even if I'm at the airport, what I'm going to do, I'm going to order it because I know what I'm getting, right? And why do I trust? Because every time I go there, I love it. I ask for the same thing and I get the same service all the time. So that's what you want to bring to your people is the same thing. So when you show up on social media, when you show up here in these rooms, they know what to expect. They know that they can love and they also trust you. You don't know Kim Kardashian or, I'm saying brands because it's easier. You don't know Nike. You don't know the owner, but you will buy those pair of shoes. You don't know Dolce & Gabbana, but you will purchase Dolce & Gabbana. So you don't need to know the person, but you just need to show up as it. Okay. So we're going to jump onto the next one of what to avoid in branding. Oh, I went a little bit fast on that one. Now I took this from Daniel G, who's #1 in sales. And I also took it from Gary Vaynerchuk. Love the man, even though he's very in your face, but I'll try not to be that aggressive on you. But he's very big on social media and marketing. So when you talk about branding, and these numbers are pretty accurate, the selling part, you guys don't, it's an easy thing. If you can connect and lock the connection points, the conversation, the closing is easy. And that's what branding is. It's the same thing. Branding is 90% of everything you do. So when Craig says everybody needs it, everybody needs it. Because you only have 5 seconds for somebody, well, I think it's less now with social media. You only have 5 seconds for somebody to like you, not like you, have an opinion on you. And you guys, unfortunately, I'll say honestly, you guys already had an opinion when I came on stage before, which is fine. I love you anyways, but it's the same thing. So how do you create that? You're going to create value. I can talk about my dad because, well, I'll be teaching my dad. Value, and this is how the Gary Vaynerchuk is, he wrote this book, Jab, 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 Right Hook. So if you guys have done boxing, you guys know, and I'll just go a bit further. When you do the jab, it's a value. So that's every time you're going to create value content. All the time you're going to give the jab. or jab, whatever you guys want to do. Okay. In boxing, same thing. So you jab with the value. 3 tips of why EGC, whatever you guys were talking about, apologies, 3 tips of why clients, why you should have data, why, I can talk about me, 3 tips of how to have confidence, 3 tips of overcoming fear, 3 tips of this, or tell a story. My dad does stories on Fridays. Like, tell your story. Your story is a book. So you might as well write it. Don't have anybody else write it for you. So the jab is the branding, value. And it's the marketing, same thing. The marketing is the handshake, online and offline. And I'm going to point a couple of y'all. People, you guys will write a post and a text on social media, and you guys won't reply to the people on the messages. The messages is like a handshake. It's like giving a handshake to someone. When you post on social media and you don't reply to that person, that's how the person feels. I swear, pisses me off. But it really is. So if you guys have followed me on social media, you guys know that every comment somebody does, I always reply. And I will reply either by giving it 100%, or I'll give a heart. I give orange because that's my branding. I wear orange. I like that. You don't have to do a heart. But I'm always replying because I believe by me just giving that handshake and me replying, you feel seen. And I know we may not have much of a conversation, but you know that I love and appreciate you. So I'm giving you my time. So it's really important that marketing is 7%. So it's engaging. If somebody comments on your feed, the other day I had somebody on my, it was on my TikTok, and she was asking a question about feeling overwhelmed. I replied to that video into a video, and you don't need to do video if that's not your thing, but it's about just understanding how you can basically your answer where your people and your audience is in the answers of your feed, of your subject, of the questions that people will ask. Or when they say, oh, I love this post, thank you for sharing. My people like that kind of post. Let me post something else. Like, I know I love inspiration. I know a lot of my people are like, oh my goodness, you filled my heart at that moment. So do that. Now, of course, if you're in the retail market, maybe not, but maybe giving hope to your people, right? I always say people because I say my people, my humans, but that's what it is, right? And then the selling part is going to be easy because people will come up to you and say, oh my goodness, I saw you talk about this. Like, what are you talking about? What is it that you do, Olivia? I see you drink that red drink. What is the red drink? I see you talk about at these events. What are you doing at these events? Like, people love watching. I was talking to Yvonne. She was talking about Twitter. She's like, I don't post, but I stalk. That's the same. And I'm sure some of y'all do it. But I intentionally will reply. You know why? Because even if I do a reply, what are you going to do? You're going to check my profile. You're going to check who I am. So intentionally, I know that if I comment in groups, you're going to look at me anyways. So, be smart about your branding. I know some of y'all like, I don't like to post, etc. Just say, oh, well done. Congratulations. Because I swear people will find you on all different platforms. So how can we brand ourselves and make a greater impact? Well, here my dad gave me, he's partnered up with Linda, and she gave me these cosmetics. I didn't put eyelashes today because if you are a woman, eyelashes is like a struggle. Eyeliner is already enough, but it doesn't matter. Her brand here, what is your mission statement? I want you today, if you guys don't have that yet, what is your mission statement? I know Hubert talked about it, and a couple of y'all also talked about it, but understanding this is who I am, and I'm not going to move. I'm not going to budge. So hers is be perfect. It goes to be, and then it just says perfect. That's it. Simple message. My message every time I go live, I always say, I help the multicultural millennial to earn an extra income using social media. All the time. I repeat it. But the reason why I repeat it all the time is because it's like, the news on social media, or when you watch TV or the news, it's always at 8:00. It's always the same thing. Negative. And then, positivity. Somebody, a child walked at the age of 1 year old or whatever. I'm not saying you guys are going to bring the negativity, but be consistent in your message every single day. This is what I offer, and repeat it. And I know some of you are like, yeah, but that's boring. Yeah, well, they haven't bought your product yet. And there's more, 8 billion people. Just repeat it. There's bound to be 1% of those people in there, okay? So I saw this quote, and I thought it was really cool. It's from Picasso. And the meaning of life is to find your gift. The purpose of life is giving it away. Guys, remember that people, when they see you on social media, you may think, oh, yeah, but if I'm sharing my stuff, they won't buy from me. People only use, and only 5% of people will use what you have. So just share, give. Because if they know that you give extra value, they will pay for what you have, right? Repeat it. I've already talked about it, and I know it sounds boring, but every time you go on social media, repeat your thing. Or it doesn't need to be the same sentence, but you can actually repeat it differently. It could be a story. And you guys have loads of stories. We guys know who's working really well on social media is storytellers. If you look at artists, why are they so good at what they do is because they create sad songs that you can relate to. So how can you poke the bear? How can you say, look, I've been in your situation. I've been in a place where I didn't have, okay, I'll give you an example, but this really worked last week. I poked the bear and I said, have you ever been in a situation where you're living abroad and you know that your credit card, you don't know if it's going to work because you shut down your company. You were supposed to get married, but you didn't get married. And at the end, you're stuck in Italy and you have to pay rent and you don't know if you can. Like you resonated with that because maybe you guys have been in that situation, maybe, or maybe not. But I poked the bear to some people because it resonated. And funny enough, I actually got crazy comments on that one. So another sentence for y'all. Coming together is a beginning. Staying together is progress. And working together is success, from Henry Ford. And you guys being in this room together, you guys are celebrating. You guys are supporting each other. So get a maximum business cards. Get a maximum of, connection. I mean, LinkedIn, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube. I mean, YouTube, you can't really talk, but it doesn't matter. And then we'll wrap up with this. Never know. Yeah. I mean, YouTube is you guys are probably scared of TikTok. If you guys have not been on YouTube, that kind of intense haters, but that's fine. Whatever. It doesn't matter. Here's a couple of people that I've worked with. So we did EVE, who's a rapper, and her style has always been very clean. And I wanted just to showcase that there's a piece for everyone. She didn't really want to wear a dress at the time when we did lingerie, a while back. But I'll jump to Lavelda, which is the latest one. Lavelda is an MC and a moderator and a speaker. Huge on LinkedIn, very gifted. But her thing was she didn't like wearing trousers. And I know some of y'all be like, what's the big deal? She didn't like it at all. And since I came and worked with her, I was like, look, it will elongate your style. Why? Because I gave her value. She didn't understand how styling could work correctly because she didn't have somebody that could tell her. You guys are the experts in bringing that to your people. So give that extra little value, that little extra look. I think you should have done this, but you did really, really good. So you're punching by saying, look, you did bad, but I'm giving you something else to be like, hey, remember this. And funny enough, she's wearing an outfit. And even if she's very corporate, we turned it like those two pictures. There's probably 6 months of a difference. We've added more color in her wardrobe. So now she's wearing red. And it's the same top from Primark that cost us £2. You don't need to go extra. And the skirt, we found it online. Now I'm going to move onto my dad. And back in the day, that's a kind of crazy hairstyle. When you look back at pictures and you're like, oh, Lord Jesus, what happened to you, my love? Anyways, so as a stylist, I was styling my dad because my dad was in corporate 10 years ago. Now he's independent, but we were talking about evolving through your brand. And that's what my dad is. My dad is the same person. And a couple of days ago, he was on the cover of Retail magazine, which is super cool and super huge. But we went from 10 years in between one photo and the other.